Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Athena Amoeba, your friend in exploring the power of your mind and creating your own universe. Which, speaking of, I need to create my own universe because I'm turning 28 today. Today is my 28th birthday and I'm like, how did this happen? How did I get here? Where did the last 10 years of my life go? And I'm really trying to appreciate the journey that I've had and highlight the accomplishments and the experiences that I've had throughout these last 10 years. But if I'm really honest, I've been living these last 10 years totally unintentionally, and it's led me to some pretty rough places that I'm at now. But that being said, I'm not trying to focus on where I am. I'm trying to focus on where I want to get to and make sure that I get there. And I want to focus on living in the moment and making sure that I'm making the most of every moment. And that if I'm having a rough time, how can I pause for a beat and change my perspective, evaluate what my perspective is. Why am I struggling right now? What's the feeling that I'm struggling with? What's the issue I'm struggling with? How can I put that on pause, flip the perspective so that I could bring calm and peace to myself and maybe even enjoyment? So that's really what I'm working on, and I'm going to use that to focus on accomplishing my goals. I just made a before video for what for what will be my weight loss journey. And I only want to do this because I feel totally uncomfortable in my skin. As I've said before a million times, I think big women are beautiful. But when I see pictures of myself at this size, I don't see what I see when I look at other women who are, fat, who are bigger, and I think are gorgeous. But when I see pictures of myself, I don't feel that same way about me. So I really feel like for me personally, I need to be smaller, then I'll feel comfortable. So I just made a before video for my weight loss journey, and I was just basically wearing this. There you go, there's a preview, and just went through, what weight I'm at now and what weight I hope to get to. And this has been a goal that I've had for a while, or should I say this is a desire I've had for a while. It's been a goal since the beginning of this year. I've lost a third of the weight. I need to lose the next 60 pounds. And you know what? Starting this new year, it's my new year, right? A new revolution around the sun. I'm going into my Saturn return. I know it's going to be chaos, and I know that life is going to kick my ass to make me become the person that I'm supposed to be. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep being totally miserable in my life. But no, I'm not going to be miserable. Saturn, I'm not going to let you kick my ass. I'm with you. Let's go for this ride. Let's become the person that I'm supposed to be, right? Because I still think that I have been. On this most holiest of days, my birthday, I'm really going to be focusing more intentionally on where I have power. Where do I have power in my life? What are the areas of my life that I feel powerless in? And where does my power lie in that area? And how can I most effectively take ownership of that power and take ownership of myself and take ownership of my life? I'm not a victim of anything. I'm only a victim of something if I let myself be. No matter what the bigger picture is, no matter what the bigger institution and structure is, I ultimately allow that to have power over me or not, And that's a big topic. And I know that, there's a huge lack of justice in this world. That's for sure. And the system is designed to keep the rich rich and keep the poor poor, make the rich richer, make the poor poor. But that doesn't mean that we can't claim the power that we do have in our situation and do something about where we're at, right? And I know a lot of times it feels overwhelming, it feels hopeless, but you can either submit to where you're at and give up your power, or you can claim your power. Those are really ultimately the two options that we always have every moment of every day. Are you going to give up your power? Are you going to give up on yourself? Or are you going to claim whatever is there, even if it's a shred, even if it's just, I have control over the thoughts that I think? That is still power that you have over yourself. So that being said, that's what I'm going to focus on this 28th year of my life. I've got a long way to go. I've got a lot of ways I need to grow. I've been really insecure the last couple of weeks, which has been hell. It's really been hell. I feel like, especially at my age, I feel like I should already, be confident in myself and like be practiced in being confident. But that's something that I'm really just starting a journey on. And if I'm real, I don't want to make this too long, but to be real, I think it's mostly also because I don't know who I am. I know who I used to be when I was younger, I know who I was probably from ages 15 to like 19, 20, but then once 20, 21, 22 came around, I changed in a lot of ways by that point, and I was really going down this path of becoming kind of like a social justice warrior, but like not in a good way. It was like in a way where my whole identity was based on that. I really didn't have anything else going on in my life besides like analyzing social problems and like taking part in the work that organizations do, which is great, and it was great in a lot of ways, but it was also bad because of the culture surrounding a lot of the social justice organizations and groups is very, for me at least, like I definitely understand the power of calling people out, and all of us have to do better at challenging ourselves, at acknowledging and thinking about the ways that we affect other people in their daily lives and how their experiences are totally different from ours, and how we can be harming others without realizing it because we don't understand the complexities of their experience, right? And so we have to do a better job at being aware of what other people's lived experiences are and make sure that we aren't actively harming people, or that if we are harming people, how can we stop? How can we, stop harming, and even better, take it a step further, how can we support, and that I think is a lifelong journey. I don't think any of us really will get to a point where we're like, okay, I'm an ally now, or okay, I'm good. I'm one of the good people, I'm one of the aware people. Like, I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I'm not transphobic, I'm not, all of the ways that we can be oppressive. I don't ever think it's about achieving a badge that says you're not these things. I think it's more about addressing how these systems of oppression come up in ourselves and in the bigger picture, and through institutions and just on the daily, how do these systems of oppression show up, and then what's our role as individuals, because each of us have a different role in that, especially because it's like, what does your corner of the world look like? Where do you work? Who are your family and friends? What do you do on your spare time? Where do you live? Like, what's your corner of the world? I think we get so caught up in focusing on, national issues, global issues, and I'm not saying that those aren't important, but it's really hard to have an impact at that level as an individual. Now, if we come together as groups, that's different. We can have an impact, but on an individual level, you're going to have the most impact in your corner of the world, like what's immediately around you, who's immediately around you. And so just constantly evaluating, how can I have a positive impact on my corner of the world, right? Just because we want it to be a better, nicer place for all. So that being said, I did go on a long tangent, but this is what I've been struggling with, right? It's like that became my whole identity, but in a bad way. Like the way that I just described it right now was, I think, more positive, and I want to continue to carry that throughout my life. But I think before it became so toxic, it was like more about this, like, it was a very academic and cliquey and kind of exclusive environment. And I'm not saying that, that shouldn't exist, or that, whatever. People can do what they want. If people need to create certain spaces that are exclusive, that's one thing. But I feel like as a whole, there's just this whole culture of like, someone said one word that was wrong. Like, right, like let's say they didn't know about gender pronouns and misgendered somebody or mispronounced somebody. See, I don't even know if I'm using the right term. And then all of a sudden they're a bad guy, right? Like they're a demon, and it's just like, man, like we're all just people, like, and not everybody has access to this information. Like, this is very academic stuff. Like, you don't just go walk down the street and everybody knows about like gender pronouns, or not everybody knows about, you know, the structures of oppression that exist on a larger scale. Like, people know it on an individual basis, right? And I'm not saying that just because you didn't go to college, you don't know these things. There are a lot of people who are, some of the like most amazing activists and organizers I know never went to school, right? But that's what I'm saying, is like we're all coming together from all different experiences, and so how can we demonize people just for not knowing? You know what I mean? And that's where I felt that the culture that I was in had become like, that the culture in some of these organizations and groups had become. It was like, oh, this person did, you know, said this one thing, they're fucked up forever, don't talk to them, you know? And it's just like, damn, like it was painful, you know, because I became that way too. I wanted to call everybody out, and I was just, it was a bad feeling. I didn't like it. And it was making me miserable. And so I'm still coming off of that, really. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And since I've come out of that, I left the nonprofit that I was working with 2 years ago. And I've been broke as hell ever since. I've been dealing with mental health issues from old shit I've never dealt with ever since. I got in massive debt trying to like just pay my bills ever since. So that's where I'm at right now at this age of 28. Coming off of this like roller coaster ride of insanity. Coming off of this roller coaster ride of changing who I was as a person, realizing I didn't like who I was becoming, and then totally just abandoning everything, trying to survive. And here I am. And here I am. I'm here, which is kind of a miracle because I have been suicidal, to be real, you know? So the fact that I have made it to my 20th birthday is kind of a big fucking deal to me, you know? So I'm here, and I'm gonna make the most of this life, and I'm not gonna worry anymore about who wants me to be what way. I'm just gonna focus on what are my values, what are my beliefs, what are my desires, what do I want? What do I want out of this life, you know? Because this is ultimately my life. And I think before I can support others in a real way, I have to be solid in myself, because if I'm weak, I'm not gonna be able to, you know, help support other people. And so I think I'm in a process of working on myself, making myself stronger, building my confidence, figuring out who I am as a person and what I want. And then once that's solid, I'll be able to hopefully do more to impact my corner of the world in a positive way. And so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this year and for the rest of my life to come, really. I've been thinking about it a lot, obviously, and this is where I'm at. I know where I want to go towards, vaguely. I know the direction that I want to go in, and yeah, I'm just gonna focus on making it happen. So that is that. That is a very long update. So thank you all for watching. It's my 20th birthday. This is how I'm moving forward. And I hope that you all have an amazing revolution around the sun.